Hey everyone, what is it? Wednesday? Wednesday random cloud stream for no reason whatsoever. Ah, there's no reason to that stream. I don't even know that I'm going to be doing anything. Probably just going to just talk about random stuff. And if people join, people join. Um, yeah. So hope people's lives are good. Uh, been having fun lately with infrastructure as code. You're on. You can always join if you want. If you want to be on the stream, feel free to join. Feel free to just DM me in Twitter or whatever. We can arrange that. Oh, there's more people coming than I thought there was gonna be. But yeah. So I've been having fun with infrastructure as code lately. As I said, this stream has no rhyme or reason. I've I've done at least 100 commits to get machine learning to work on infrastructure as code. Is just such a pain. It's Terraform. Terraform. Let me go. But the problem is not a Terraform problem. I mean, it is, but it's not. It's really like working with private endpoints. It's such a pain to work with private endpoints. So basically, the idea is we're going to have this thing, this data warehouse behind firewall, behind our network. But you can't just deploy things from GitHub, right, behind your infrastructure. Like you have to have something running locally. And when you use Infrax as code with private endpoints, you have to have DNS entries for those private endpoints, but you can't know the IPs ahead of time for the private endpoint. So basically, you deploy things, it's happy, then it needs to check the something about a private endpoint, and it's like, whoa, can't reach that, and it fails. So you do that, and then you get the next thing rolling, but then it's like, oh, but I thought I deployed this resource. And then you have to delete everything and redeploy everything, and then it just works. And it's just been a nightmare to get that green check mark on my commit on that pull request. Um, but it's there. But now I need more DNS entries to make sure that it works. Um, uh, it's been a long week, but we're getting there. I, the lesson I learned from this is don't promise any timelines. um, because basically what happened, I was like, oh, this sounds easy. And in theory, it's easy. But the problem is that there's so many things you don't see. And um, so if you promise, I usually under promise, over deliver, but I messed up on this one. And I mean, thanks. It that video was fun to do. It was not what I wanted to do, but there's a lot of videos that I are not the way I want them to be. There's a lot of video where I'm like, here's all the scenes that I'm gonna shoot. I was actually planning, instead of using the road analogy for that video, I was planning on using kitchen and cooking and recipe and film a video in my kitchen while I cooked, because it lends itself well also to infrastructure as code, because you have the recipe, right? You have the recipe, then you get people to do the recipe for you. But yeah, it's tough. Plus, there's things that I when I was doing the markings for uh, the the chapters for the videos, there's things I saw and I was like, how did that make it into the final cut? But I already actually uploaded two versions of that video. One that had like, the intro where I put like all the words subtitles. I had one where I forgot to move one of the subtitles words and it was just like overlapping with other words. So I redid it, re-uploaded it. But yeah, no, I like it. It's fun. It's fun to think about things like this. I love my job on YouTube. trying to educate people on cloud stuff. It's difficult. It's not always easy. Croissant time. I have other things here, but I can't show it because YouTube will not allow it to be shown. So it's like a croissant but for adults and liquid. We'll call it that. Um, what are you doing? Why didn't you see that video? No, I'm kidding. Um, yeah, it's an okay video. It takes time. It's it's tough creating videos. Um, it's a lot of work. It's funny because my kid, I was like, I'm trying to get on TikTok. I was trying to get to do more stuff on TikTok, and I asked my kid like, "Hey, well," because they were like, "Oh, um, I edit my videos because I don't really like the ones that I don't edit," and I'm like, "How long do you spend on editing your video?" And they're like, 30 minutes. It's a 1 minute video, right? 30 minutes of editing. So that tells you an idea of how, if you want to do quality content on YouTube, how long you need to spend working and editing on these videos. This video probably took me 5 hours to edit. Um, thank you. No, I think they're good. I would not post them if I didn't think they were good. But it's just the dichotomy between what I have in my head when I plan the videos and what I actually end up producing. It's really I have the video all done in my head. I know what it looks like. I know everything I want to have in there. And actually, this video, I've been like thinking about it for months. And then you film it and you edit it, and it just doesn't look the way you want. But at the same time, like I have to keep putting content. I can't just spend days and days on a video because the thing I learned from YouTube is that the videos that do the best, my best videos, I spend the least amount of time editing. And so it's really the difficulty of YouTube is like, is it like I want to put quality content and I want to put time in it, but just because I like the video, just because it ends up the way I want it to be, doesn't mean that other people will be like, wow, this is a good video that's worth sharing with other people, you know. And not that I strive to get like videos shared with other people or get subscribers or whatever. It's not really on my metrics. I mostly do it for fun, but it's just disheartening when you spend a lot of time doing something and then it's like it gets like 20 views, So yeah. Recipes are okay, but experience has taught me that not everything goes as planned sometimes. Yes. Most honestly, experience has told me that most of the time things don't go as planned. Um, you know, what is it? The famous last words are in theory. It should work in theory. Um, yeah, I've just I don't really go on Twitter all that much often, but I just saw that Atlassian had a outage that's probably gonna keep lasting for weeks, right? Because they wrote a script and they deleted instances like full blown sites from customers. Can you imagine I mean, you wrote a script. In theory, it should work. And these are like super smart people. But you just do the wrong the wrong line, the one line you didn't test, that's the one that's gonna hurt you. Um, but it's yeah, and that's my fear every time. I mean, in technology, that's my fear. Every time I have to do something that involves scripts in production, I'm like, I hold my breath. I'm like, oh my god, this is terrifying. Um, what did I do? Yes, I had to change network for a machine that was in production. And in Azure, the way you change network for a machine that goes into production. I was like, this is easy. You just say, go to the interface, network interface, and change the network. But no, you can't do that in Azure. You have to delete the network interface. You have to delete the virtual machine without the hard drive, and then recreate all that on the new network. And that is terrifying. Let me tell you, when you don't know and you're like, I deleted it, and then it's like, oh my god, am I going to recreate it properly? Plus, the only way to really like keep all the settings the same and all that stuff, the only solution is really to just use a script to like save the settings in a variable and then reuse them later. But then it's like, I always have that hesitance every time I try to do something in production that involves destroying things, where it's like, oh my god, what? I'm gonna be blamed for this. I'm gonna be blamed for this not working. But you know, not everything goes as planned. I'm not sure if that last example was related, but yeah. I'm gonna let you learn. I see a lot of people commenting that they learn and they appreciate the videos, and some of the content is great. I get good feedback from these videos. So you know, as long as one person learns, I feel like I've been successful at my mission of teaching / entertaining people. So that's awesome. Yeah, that's the key. That's what I want. If one person enjoys it, then I did a good job. It's really fun to learn from different people. You see a topic from different perspectives and personalities. Yes, yes, and that's why I really wish more people would teach. I mean, not necessarily do YouTube, but like teaching in general. Like at work, I'm trying to get more people to like try and teach what they know, because you don't know how valuable your knowledge and experience is to somebody else. It's really something that we all have. You know, we compare ourselves to others, and we're like, okay, I don't have much experience. And honestly, like if you compare myself to a lot of those YouTubers or experts on Twitter or whatever in terms of cloud computing, I don't have much experience. But you know, the problem is if these people have a ton of experience, don't share, then you're stuck with me. But yeah, no, I think it's great. I think more people should do it. And I think people would discover they're better at teaching and communicating subjects than they give themselves credit for, and they will enjoy it more than they think they will. Um, what if you have LBs? Well, I don't. If you have a load balance, I mean, if you have load balancers, then yes, I think it's a lot less scary than redoing the whole thing. Yeah, it's. But in this case, all we could afford is one machine. Not in terms of the company doesn't have enough money that they could spare for a load balancer and a second machine, but just because it just doesn't. It doesn't lend itself to have that type of infrastructure. Um, and in theory, you don't mess up in the first place, so you don't have to delete and recreate things. So, yeah. Had to go through a handful of Terraform courses, videos, documentation to really grasp some beginners. Me too. Actually, I don't really go through videos. I yeah, I've stopped learning through videos for some reason. I do learn through. I used to, but for some reason I stopped. But yeah, I go through the documentation. There's a lot of things that I'm like, I keep looking it up. I was like, wow, it's not as intuitive as you would think, and it's not as programming as you would think. You know, it's like infrastructure as code, but really, it's not really code. Um, in the classical sense, where there's like no data structures, there's no functions, there's no. I mean, there are functions and data structures and things like that, but you can't really code per se. Um, it's like HTML. If I had to describe Terraform, it's like HTML. and CSS, and it's a lot of descriptions, and it's a lot of you have to picture it in your head to do it, right? That's what I would say about infrastructure as code and Terraform, in particular, because I mean Bicep, same thing to an extent, very much same thing actually. Um, it's like you have to picture it just like HTML in your head, and just do it this way. It, it's tough even for me, and I've been writing code for over a decade now, not professionally. I mean, professionally too, but not as a job. Um, but it's tough. It's a different way of thinking. Um, I've mastered HTML and CSS, I think. Okay, so I'm sure I'll get Terraform at some point, but it's not an easy thing. Yeah. So I'm close to. All right. Let's see. Wish there were nice extensions for Terraform visualization like the ARM has on VS Code. Yes, there isn't. Honestly, I think, and I've thought about creating it, but I'm not good enough at Terraform to do it. But I think someone needs to create a drag and drop version of Terraform. Seriously, just um um yeah, there needs to be a drag and drop version of Terraform because it's I think sorry I don't think it would be that complicated to do. Um, I think drag and drop and connect network interface and so all that stuff. I think that's a doable tool. And honestly, I feel like infrastructure as code is gonna remain for years to come, but I think it's going to go away. It's gonna be moved down. It's a new concept. So right now it's just like programming, right? You start with assembly because the zeros and one, that's all you can talk to the processor with, and then you create a language on top of it that will you know work and then compile to assembly, and then you create like visual languages that will compile down and will get interpreted down and all that stuff. And I think that's what's going to happen with infrastructure as code. I fully foresee, definitely in 10 years, if not sooner, that somebody will create um, a drag and drop version to design it. So basically, what's going to happen is the architect is going to be like, I have a vision for my design, for my infrastructure. I will do the actual like layout of things um, in my drawing software or whatever. And then I'm going to click play, and the infrastructure will be ready for me. Um, it's think about it as like 3D printing houses, right? Architect is designing everything in like 3D CAD modeling, and then you press play, and then the 3D printer prints your house. I think um, that's really what's going to happen, and yeah, I think it will get abstracted away. As more people do it, more people will get frustrated, and more likely it is that somebody um, will create that software. Or HashiCorp will create the software. I think they probably have the money for that. What is my title at work? My official one is the same that is on LinkedIn, I think. Cloud and data engineer. Oh, I can look on LinkedIn. I'm looking on LinkedIn to see if that's what it says, but that's my actual title. Um, where's my profile? Do not have. Yeah, cloud and data engineer. Yep, this is my actual title at work. Because the idea when I got my job, basically the way it works is they're like, I want to keep you. What can I do to keep you? And I was like, I want to do some cloud, but I also really like data stuff. I want to do machine learning and data analysis and things like that. Um, but I ended up doing not much data. Actually, I think the data can be dropped from my title. It might change now that I'm deploying the data warehouse and writing the code for it. Once this is done and hopefully working at a steady state, I could see myself doing some machine learning. Um, that sounds like a fun little side project. I used to do that um, when I did my studies. I in college for my research. It was actually very fun. Machine learning is the best. Um, and I'm not sure if anyone saw this. The DAL E um, thing from OpenAI is just it's just ridiculous. If you ask me, the let me see. I requested access. I don't think I have access, so if I'm not gonna share my screen if I don't have access. Actually, if I have access, they may not be okay with me sharing my screen. Um, but that thing, you know what? Just so you know, people, I see your comments. I will get to them. Just um, I'm I'm putting answering your response to later, but I'm not. I'm not ignoring you. All right, let me see if learn more. Yeah. Okay. Let's share the screen. Yeah. This thing is ridiculous. Actually, I need to do this too. Come on. Like, this is all natural language, like a teddy bear mixing sparkles. And can we even like refresh and it's just going to be a different thing again? Just, no, apparently it's not. Okay, it's it's all saved. But it just creates like images for you, like from machine learning. From it is just crazy. This is gonna kill the whole stock photos industry. This is the stock photo murderer, um, because like I was looking for pictures of potholes on a stock on Pexel, but I couldn't find anything. But here, with something like this, I could just be like, show me a road with a pothole, and it's just gonna generate a road with a pothole for me, and I will have what I want. I will describe the picture I want to see in my video, and it will just show up on my screen. This is crazy. Like the level of how smart people are to create models like this. Um, yeah, I I'm so glad that I'm gonna die within the next 100 years, because I think 100 years from now is going to be crazy stuff. So thank you. And I am researching the whole. I meant to respond to you. I'm researching the whole bringing people on. I don't see many people doing it, many YouTubers doing it. So I need to understand why. Um, and hopefully I'll have an answer for you soon. But I think it would be cool to have people um, come on the stream just randomly and just be like, "Hey, let's talk about stuff," or ask questions or whatever. Um, I don't know if it's like a community guideline thing or if it's a royalties thing when you get monetized or if it's a um, whatever. I'm just wondering why more people don't do it. So, but yeah, it would be nice to have something where I could bring people on. Maybe Twitch. I don't know. I haven't done Twitch, but yeah, that would be fun. I do have very supportive management. Puma is a great company. Um, just like every company doesn't get everything right all the time, but the management and the leadership is great. The thing I love about Puma is that they send company wide emails almost daily with everybody that's just being promoted. Like every manager or every department leader is like, this person has been promoted. This person is now reporting to this person. Um, and if somebody's leaving the company, they're like, this is so great. We loved working with this person. Thank you so much for like working with us, and we wish you luck. Um, yeah, I think they really got the hang of, you know what? If we want to keep people, we'll just give them what they want. Not in a like pressure way, but it's like what would keep you happy to keep you around? Because like, and it's not like I want you here in this job. It's really like we see value in you in this company in general, and we're going to do everything we can because we know you're going to push the company forward. And if it means transferring to a different department or even going to a different country, I'm probably going to go to Germany for 2 months this year to meet my counterparts in Germany. But I think it's a great company to work with. Every time I get recruiters contacting me, even for like 50% salary raise, I'm like, I mean, as much as I want the money, like 50%. Salary raise is non-negligible amount at my level. But I think not many companies are supportive and really want you to succeed. Um, as Puma, if they're hiring janitors, I'm sure. I don't think they hire janitors. I think they contract them. But I definitely have you on the list if there's anything cloud related. Um, can't guarantee that you'll get the job. I can't guarantee that. Not because um, I don't think you could, but because yeah, I don't make the hiring decisions. But yeah, but look on the website. There's a lot of jobs. There's gonna be jobs this year in IT at Puma, a growing company. Um, very little turnover, so that's a good thing. So keep an eye out if you want to come to Boston. All right, tips for beginners. All right, so I'm assuming we're talking about cloud tips. There's cloud tips and there's programming tips that I feel like I can confidently give you tips about. Cloud tips. I mean, cloud and programming tips. The two things I will say you have to do is play with it on your own. I think if you want to get but the the thing I learned with experience is that if you want to get better, you got to stop only doing things at work, and not in a like you have to have a side hustle doing things, but if you're passionate about what you're doing, especially if you do it outside of work and you try to explore things you wouldn't do at work, especially in cloud because it's cheap. Like there's very few things that you could create in the cloud accidentally that will blow your wallet away immediately. There's a lot of things that will blow your wallet away, but immediately, not that many if you're careful. Um, so do things on the side, explore, read. It doesn't honestly. I'm not a big fan of like just telling people to just work on the side because you need to have your own life. It is up to you to decide if you want to have a life or if you want to dedicate every minute of your day to tech and cloud and things like that. And I would not recommend the second one. I would not do the second one personally in my life. I would not dedicate every minute of my life to tech and cloud. There's too much fun stuff to do around to do that. But play around, have fun, enjoy, do some side projects, document those side projects as much as you can, because if you want to get a job, um, it's nice to have some sort of portfolio. I don't know how many cloud hiring managers look at um, at your portfolio, but yeah, it's good. Um, Other tips. My cloud light is gone. My cloud light is not. Which one? This one? Okay. Now I have to get up. Now you've done it. I have to get up. All right. It's dead, but it's here. It's still here. It's just dead in batteries. Um, all right, landing a job. Sorry, I just read the comment. I was like, it's here. Nobody was like, what are you talking about? Everybody was like, what are you talking about? Um, yeah, it's. I have interviews for jobs outside of Puma, and I don't land them either. So don't feel like that's what's gonna happen to you. It's, sometimes there's people who are better qualified than you. Sometimes there's people who are better at selling than you, and they may not be more qualified, but they're better at just talking to the interviewer. um, it's a skill that needs to be mastered. If really you're trying to get a job, learn the technology and the job, but also learn how to communicate your passion and your knowledge. It's selling, right? An interview is a sell. You are selling yourself to somebody, and when they talk to you, they're like, "Is that person? Am I willing to pay, I don't know, $100,000 for that person?" And you may be the best engineer out there, but if you can't sell yourself, you know, but hopefully you'll find people who look past that whole selling yourself and be like, okay, technically, what is this person capable of doing? Um, it's tough. Finding a job is tough. What other tip do I have? Practice questions. Ask yourself questions. You know what? Ask yourself questions about cloud technology. Just wonder, like, how would I do X? If you see something in the wild, if you see cloud infrastructure or whatever in the wild, ask yourself, how would I do X? Design it in your in your head. You don't have to do it, but like, think about these questions. Ask yourself these questions, because you don't know what's going to come up. So the more you ask yourself your question, the more answers you come up with in your head, the more likely you are to give the right answer. Um, well, you did. You did. It's your fault. No, it's fine. Uh, Not a big deal. Yeah, do labs as much as you can. It helps to walk through problems. Um, yeah, the the way I said the whole sell yourself, and not everybody can sell themselves and all that stuff. I didn't mean it in the wrong way, or to offend anyone who's not able to sell themselves. I personally cannot sell myself. It's it's a skill. It's a difficult skill, and yeah, it's getting a job is hard. Getting a job is hard. Getting a job when you need one is even harder. Um, it's if only people could see you for who you are and what you can provide and your potential. I think the thing that doesn't, I think a lot of people look for potential in an employee. Like, where can this person take the company going forward? And I think that's the hardest thing to really get across from an interview that's like a few minutes long. Um, I think that people who get to know you will see and appreciate your worth and what you can bring, um, because they can see like the progression. Your employers can see the progression from point A to point B. um, if anyone has any tips on how to get yourself to show the potential, your potential to a potential employer, let me know. I have a short list of people that I would be willing to work for above Fuma, including Microsoft and Google. But yeah, um, that's nice. I don't know anything about boot camps for cloud. Honestly, I will not speak to that. Um, I always have a very ambivalent take on on boot camps. On one hand, you can learn everything for free. On the other hand, they want you to succeed and they will help you succeed in theory. Um, so I don't, it's you. How to say this? You can learn anything for free, but companies still require a degree, right? So LF for cloud. What is LF? What is LF? It's the person's name. I'm sorry. It's 9, okay? Forgive me. Especially to make connections with other people in the cloud. Yeah, absolutely. It would help. Honestly, I would say if you want to make connections with people in the cloud, what can you do? Conferences. Conferences are a good place to make connections. If you have a job, let's put it this way: if you have a job and you can go to an Amazon, Google, or Microsoft conference, um, I would recommend you take that opportunity, because then you will connect to people who are in the cloud, and you will be able to get that expensed, right? Um, but yeah, I think it's good. I think connections are not are undervalued and under underrated, overrated, underrated. They're underrated. So yeah, and yeah, like Boris said, tech Twitter, right? Tech Twitter, work with people, you know, offer your help. Yeah, I've seen some very united cloud communities. Maybe that's what I need right now. I have some technical skills but no connections. Yeah. Um, yep. Boris is a good resource. Boris knows a lot of people. Um, yeah, that's between the two of you. um, I mean, Boris is on Twitter, so maybe if you're able to connect to him on Twitter, I just don't want you to have like your email on here and just have it for everybody to see in the future. So reach out to me on Twitter. What's my Twitter handle? If you don't know, oh yeah, you won't be able to find Boris. Yeah, there you go, Boris. Yeah, I hate being in this seat where it's like I'm trying to to say like what is good and what is bad, because honestly, I'm just talking out of my rear end. Um, I don't know. But yeah, connecting to other people is worthwhile. Absolutely, 100%. You if if you follow me and you don't follow Rishab, or you don't follow Gwen, then I just don't know how you made it to cloud stuff. But Rishab got a job at Google doing cloud stuff without a degree. Um, Gwen got a good job at Microsoft doing cloud stuff without a degree. So degrees are absolutely not a requirement. Um, so don't. And honestly, I think that cloud computing degrees are still so new that I don't even know if employers can evaluate the value of a degree, right? And and from my personal experience, very few people in IT have a degree in IT. um, yeah, I don't know many people who have a degree in IT who work in IT. It's the weirdest bunch. Um, Big, huge, resounding yes, yes. Um, Ultimately, you have to do what you think is best for you. It's not. Don't ask. I mean, you can ask me. I'll give you my opinion, but it's doable without a degree. It's very doable without a degree. Um, it may not be easy, right? Just like everything, if you have the credentials and you can just show them, um, more doors will open. But it's also not a guarantee. Having a degree is also not a guarantee of a job. So I don't know. I've Yeah, study very hard. I'm sure it will. If you work, if you put effort into it, it will pay off. You may not see it immediately, the payoffs, but put effort into it, keep doing it, persevere, and you will see the fruit of your labors at some point down the line. And one thing about boot camps that I mean, I haven't been to a boot camp, but I've been following people who talk about boot camps. And the one model I love about boot camps, and I think universities should do the same, is the income share agreement. It used to be Lambda School, now that's something else. Um, and I just like schools like this because ultimately an income share agreement is basically you study for free, you owe them, I don't know, 20, 30, $50,000 at the end. But you are not in debt, technically, right? You agree to pay a portion of your salary to them, a fixed amount. If you make above $50,000, you agree to pay them a fixed amount, and you have 2 years to repay it. So if you really don't make enough money through this boot camp to repay them, then they don't get their money back. So they have the incentive to get you a job. Um, but yeah, yeah, I'm an IT manager, and I've never looked at degrees when hiring. Also, some of the best minds in tech that I have met don't have degrees. Yeah, honestly, degrees. I have a degree in physics. It means nothing for IT, and also the more further down the line you are, the more meaningless a degree is, right? Because your work and experience base speaks for itself. What's 4 years or 6 months in college um, compared to 10 years of experience, right? Mechanical engineer, yeah, you have the right degree to do cloud. I mean, you don't need one, but mechanical engineer, you have the right degree. I think, like Boris is saying, you have to leverage it to your advantage. Um, WGU, yeah, I don't know WGU personally, so I will defer to Boris. Am I? Yep, very good to know. If only the hiring managers were like you in my country. Many of them has like 5 years experience for junior level jobs. It's yeah. I'm sorry. I think it's a big tech thing that's rubbing off on more and more people in the US where the value of a degree is less and less and less. Um, so hopefully big tech will rub off on you on your country like this. So and yeah, I don't know. It's sad. It's sad that people look at things like a degree. Personally, in my degree, I learned nothing of value for IT. So yeah, it's a piece of paper that really isn't worth the money it's printed on. Um, I mean, it's nice to have a degree. I don't want to diss on people who have a degree and like their degree, but in terms of jobs, I don't know. Yes, keep pushing. It will happen. Karen mentioned Rishad. He's got a job with Google after he was rejected, so it will happen. Yeah, so many people. So many people get jobs without a degree. I think people just have to see your worth. And don't get me wrong, it might be a lot harder without a degree. So can't tell you. But yeah. It's tired o'clock. I think I'm gonna do another 10-15 minutes of this and then we'll. Yep, that's the best you can do. Not give up. Don't give up. It's about sticking with it, getting through it, and you'll make it. I think people who persevere are the people who are most likely to succeed. Um, how was my Saturday adventure? My Saturday adventure was fun. It doesn't seem like it because I do tech content and I do cloud content and programming. Um, I love manual work. I love like I do 3D printing. Where's it's right here. Here you don't see it. But yeah, I love doing manual work. It's just nice to not problem solve for a couple hours a day. you know, um, and, and and it's cool to just work with like big truck things. Like I've never taken apart a car. I've never taken apart. I've I think the most components I've taken out of a car was a tire, like a wheel, not even the tire, just the wheel. Um, but it's fun because this is they sell parts for trucks, big trucks, Freightliner trucks, and and it's just cool to see like, oh, okay, here's like a suspension, or here's like a shoe for a brake, or here's like these huge parts that you just don't get to see that are like inside the machinery. I mean, not necessarily huge, even small, but I don't know. I just like breaking things apart. And when I was a kid, I used to love these books that would just blow things up, and like, here's what it looks like inside, whatever. So it's just fun to actually see what's inside. That's why I 3D print and cook. Both are full contact sports. What does that mean? They're full contact sports because you could do things with your hand and it's all physically there in front of you. Um, I guess, yeah. I still love this. I love these books, honestly. Like all these documentaries, like showing you inside of things, especially things you can't go inside of. Like, my favorite type of things is like those documentaries about um, just big things, like nuclear power plant or CERN. My favorite thing about CERN is I actually got to go there, so it's even like cooler. It's like a child's dream come true, like just sitting there next to like um, the particle detector that's like 4 stories high, and they have odd signs that you just don't see anywhere. Like, um, let me see if I can find that sign. It's a suffocation sign or walk slowly sign. Um, yeah, there's some interesting signs. I don't know why I went to say he has those signs. Um, Oxygen depletion. Let me see. I know it has nothing to do with what we're talking about in cloud, but yeah, things like this. Person sitting down. It's an oxygen depletion sign because it's full of helium, and if it gets punctured, um, the oxygen just gets sucked, well, displaced from the helium. So yeah, this masque de sauveteur obligatoire, self-saving mask, whatever, or strong magnetic field. Yeah, this is cool stuff right there. Jared Owen on YouTube. All right. Oh, I don't want to see his face. I want to see the video. I want to see the channel. Oh wow, that's cool. Shows 3D animation to see how things work. All right. Um. Cool. Yeah, this is gonna. I'm gonna stop sharing because my bandwidth is not gonna accept loading YouTube and all that stuff at the same time. But all right. All right. I'll make it to 1 hour. We're at 52 minutes. Who is it? Kyle Hill. I like Kyle Hill too. Am I using Linux? I am not. Oh, I keep forgetting to click. Jared Owen. That's where this came from that I was researching this. Am I using Linux? No, I don't use Linux. I am a strong believer in Apple and Windows. No, I just honestly, I don't want to mess with my system, and I don't want to use that. That's why I don't use Android, and that's why I don't use Linux. I just it is not something I'm interested in configuring my OS. Um, I know how to use it. I have used it. I have troubleshooted it, but it's not. I don't know. I'm just not into the. How am I gonna say that? I'm not into the computer, right? Am I frozen? No. Like I'm not into the computer. I'm into technology. I'm into code. I'm into cloud, but I'm not into uh, computer and messing with the computer, the OS. Um, I just want things to work. I just want to go and just if I have to buy software, I will buy software. Um, it's not that I'm against any of this. I just want things to work so I can focus on my own problem. So All right. This is starting. Any suggestions on my next video since I have people here? I use Windows, but learned some bash scripting in Linux comments just in case. It seems we're always bumping to Linux in the cloud, so it's worth knowing. I just don't want my computer to be that. But anyway, any suggestion for the next videos? I'm thinking of doing a TikTok on career goals for myself and show people how I I plan my career. How there's nothing that people were interested in like how do I calculate the salary I need for a position that I'm getting. Um, so maybe I'll show this too. That's one idea. ML. Yeah, I could talk about ML. Yeah. That sounds like a fun topic. Um, I've thought about it. I just need to picture how to present it to people who are not in ML. Um, you know what I would recommend for anyone who wants to learn ML? the, do the algorithms from scratch. Write the algorithms from scratch. Um, it is fun, but at the same time, you will learn the, the algorithm. So if you want to learn ML, and you truly want to learn ML, you don't want to use ML for prediction, right? Just ML as a tool as opposed to a ML tool developer. Um, if you truly want to be an ML tool developer, I would recommend you write them from scratch. Yep. Python is a great language to know. Not the biggest fan of Python, but it's a great language to know. No. You know, you say that like this. It is actually not that hard. It is not one of the hardest thing I have coded. Um, a neural network. Um, and that's why I recommend people code them from scratch, because once you code it from scratch, you realize how elegant the solution is and how simple it truly is underneath and how powerful it is. It's it's just gorgeous, you know. It's if there's any code that would consider sexy, it's machine learning. Seriously. I would watch machine learning porn. No, I'm kidding. But it's quite it's a very elegant solution. Yeah, it's a very elegant solution. I wouldn't, but it's all right. If look, if you don't want to do it, pointers are a beast. I'm gonna say that learning C++ for research and pointers and the star and the ampersand and I think you get used to it, honestly, in through experience. But you don't need pointers, honestly. You know what? We could actually do a neural network in PowerShell. If pointers is really your objection to that, I will write a neural network in PowerShell. I have no problem with that, if that's really the objection. Um, yeah, Python is very cool and easy. I had to learn C at the university, and it was so hard. C is hard. C is I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. I haven't tried Rust. I don't know Rust, but yeah, I the way I see it is if you've learned C, you can do anything, more or less. Yeah, I have Wordle, but you know what? I for you, Boris, I might make a creating machine learning algorithm using PowerShell. I'll do that. I might even just do it without preparation, just to show people how. Um, not easy. I will struggle. I haven't done it in years, but the comment I got that just got to me the last time I did live coding is like, wow, you Google things. It's like, yes, yes, we all Google things. We're that is literally IT. If there's any one skill I would recommend anyone has to be successful in IT is to Google. That's it. Only skill needed in IT. Yep, I'll do it. I'll do it. You know what? Deal. All right. What do I have? I'm gonna look at my calendar right now. Um, Come on, calendar. Monday, if I've done my taxes for my business. I think I'll have done taxes. Monday. All right. Monday it is. I will do that. I might even do it during the day. Do you want it during the day? I have the day off, so could totally do it during the day. Yeah, I think so too. And yes, yeah, and you'd be surprised how many people um think that you can't Google things. I think it's just the schooling in everywhere where it's like you have to pass the exams. You can't Google things. You have to learn it when you should. If you're able to, like that. That's my thing. I did a video about that, and it's like, look, the only people who should have to know things by heart are people who have to fix emergencies and they can't have the time to Google things. That's it. Those are the only group of people that have to learn things by heart nowadays. Once upon a time, it made sense that you didn't have to Google things because you know what? There's you didn't have a library available. You had to learn it. But now it makes no sense. That's a job I would love to have. Quant. I don't know what they do, but it sounds cool. Well, I know what they do, but I don't. I've never dealt with quants. I've never, but it sounds like a cool job. And yes, never remember things you can look up easily. Yep, it's yeah. I think if I learn things, it's by accident, right? I only learn by accident because I've Googled things. Yes, it's totally okay. It's just like exam. The I found it so cool in college, and I think one of the only professors that allowed me to do that was quantum mechanics, right? In the exams, he was just like, "Hey, you can feel free to use the book because it doesn't give you it gives you a bunch of solutions, but it doesn't give you the answer. You can always Google it. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. The way I see it is if you don't frequently look up new solutions, you will always come up with the same solution. And that's just not creative, and that is just not how the world works. You know, sometimes you need to be expo. And who said that earlier? Let me see. Choo, choo, choo. Yes, that comment right there. It's very fun to learn from different people. You see a topic from different perspectives and personality. Exactly, that's exactly that. That's why you should educate yourself regularly and not learn things by heart, because you will get the different perspective. Wait, right here. I'm pointing there, but right here, this one right here. Um, because you will then get different perspective, different solution that you may never think about on your own. Um, so yeah, Stack Overflow. Yes, best friend. What is it? Half the software in the world is written by Stack Overflow. Just copying and pasting stuff from Stack Overflow. So yes, Stack Overflow is great. I'm curious how GitHub Copilot is going to replace Stack Overflow um, for finding solutions. We'll see. I'm happy to be here. Very excited to be here. Getting tired. My voice is getting dead, but I'll stay a little bit longer. I enjoyed this discussion with you guys. As long as you understand what you're doing, it's okay to pick up some resources on Google. Specifically, those scripts, everyone is tired of making them from scratch. Yes, yes, yeah. Honestly, I saw this thing online about people copy and pasting code from here um, um, from the website to the console directly, and I do that all the time. But this person put it so that when you do Control C, you have a JavaScript that runs in the background to copy the content to your um, clipboard, and it added malicious code in there. And my thing is like one day somebody's gonna do that. Somebody's gonna copy a piece of code that looks super good, paste it, run in production, and completely infect the infrastructure without reading it, without understanding what it does. So yeah, people really have to understand what they're doing, and the availability of the information is not an excuse for not understanding what it says. Looking things up is free. Knowing which piece of code to copy is 100K per year. Yeah, I don't know if that's a real story, but the whole story about a guy with years of experience, and he was maintaining that machine, and he left. He went to retire, or he was fired, or whatever. And all of a sudden, that machine doesn't work anymore, and he goes back, and they're like, "Dude, you gotta come fix the machine." And he's like, "Okay, it's gonna be $60,000, right?" He goes, takes a hammer, bang on the machine, and then like, that's it. $60,000 for that. He's like, yeah, it's like $1 for the hammer and $59,999 for knowing where to hit the hammer. It's exactly that. Any information about OpenStack? Is it easy to create public cloud and compete Azure, AWS, and Google? OpenStack. Honestly, I don't know about OpenStack, but create a cloud and compete against Azure, AWS, and Google. All right, I'm gonna have to look up what OpenStack is before I answer. Um, I've heard the word before, but I don't really know. Open source cloud infrastructure. No. The answer is no. Probably thousands, proven production at scale. Virtual machine OpenStack. Yeah, you basically have to have the physical hardware. Um, hmm. I would say no. Just because you would be competing against $1 billion, $1 trillion company. Like if you use a data center on OpenStack, like running on somebody else's data center, you're basically like running on AWS or Google, whatever. Anyway, um, I think you would have. I think okay. My thought is if you want to create a cloud company from scratch using OpenStack, um, you would have to start with a few $1,000,000, right? To do that, a few $100 million to at least start having your own first data center. Because I don't even know that $100 million is enough to have a full data center for customers. Um, and then you would have to really have a good product. Um, and I don't think it's doable. There's so many web hosting services that are not competing against them, and I think that should just tell you everything you need to know. Just because they have the infrastructure, they have the customers, and yet they're not even attempting it. I'm sure some of them could. I'm sure some of them could rival um, the big three, but they would have to do a lot of work. Yeah, the network infrastructure itself is worth billions of dollars. Um, so cloud newbie, but maybe if you find a way to create a cloud provider cheap enough to attract small businesses and startups in your area, that could be a good start. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think there is room for a cloud provider that is not infrastructure, a software as a service cloud provider. That's how I would say. I think there's to compete against the big three, you would have to do a software as a service cloud provider where you've completely abstract the infrastructure and and manage that for them. I think that's what it would take to compete against the big three, because right now none of them have that. Uh, I don't even know what it would look like, but area Linode. No, Alibaba. I've heard of Alibaba. Okay, that's your neck of the wood right there. Um, yeah, Alibaba has struggled because of China. Is Jack Ma back? Is he still alive? Google that. Oh, he's still alive. Cool. Yeah, even Oracle has struggled. Yeah, it's really like if you wanted to compete against the big three, you should have started like 10 years ago. Yeah, AWS and Azure. Yeah, and the thing is, like, it's impressive that Google is so far back, right? That's the thing about cloud is like you have AWS and Azure. Cloud is like such Google is like such a small portion for one of the biggest web companies. Like Microsoft was not even a web company until like a few a decade or so ago. That you know, I'm quite impressed by Microsoft, to be honest, on this whole cloud thing. That was a great strategic move from whomever came up with that. I don't know if it's Tia or. No. Did I just read the same? Okay. I heard the same thing. I think Azure will take the lead too, and I think honestly, that's what I was saying. I think abstraction and user interface are the differentiating factor between AWS and Azure. I think just Azure putting so much emphasis on a good user experience is what is taking the lead. I don't think they have any special technology or anything like that. Um, but I think it's really user experience. Microsoft, in my point of view, I love how much they're investing in human centered experience and not just developers, because we all know developers are not humans, right? um, French, um, French with decades of experience speaking English from a young age, young-ish age. If you want, I can speak with a stronger French accent. It's a bit more difficult to understand, but I can totally have a French accent if it's needed for clarification. Like we, like last time, Azure and on-prem, yeah. Yeah, they've created an ecosystem just like Apple. Apple also has a good chance of creating a good cloud provider. Um, Not enterprise because they're clearly not in the enterprise space, but I think they have a good chance of creating a cloud for the people. I think if they put their mind to it, um, Azure could, um, Apple could create a phenomenal cloud ecosystem for consumers. Um, what it would look like, that's up to Apple. If would Steve Jobs do that? Would Steve Jobs go to cloud? I don't know. He's dead. We'll not. We won't know. But I would be interested to see what somebody like him would think about that for Apple. Yeah, the GUI for Azure is just gorgeous. Not 100% success, but gorgeous. Yeah, research groups also. I think that they've really nailed down the whole organization, and the way people think. I think they could go one layer above without going to subscription, uh, in terms of their organization, but I think they're great. Greeting from Normandie. Bonjour. C'est un peu tard, non? 4 heures du matin? No? I actually have it on my watch. Ouais, 4 heures. 3h41. All right. Wow, you're from France. Thought you were from the US. No, I'm American though, but I'm not from the US. I'm I came to the US a few years ago. By a few years, I mean I spent over half my life in the US. I sounded almost Belgian when I was speaking French. I was speaking with a French accent. Oh, um, I don't remember the Belgian accent. I can sound French Canadian. I can do that. I, can, hmm. I don't know if I can do it in English, but I can do it in French. Je peux avoir l'accent canadien un peu. I love the Quebec accent. It's gorgeous. People don't like it, but I do. So for the next second measure, I'm gonna master this cloud one day, or at least my area, which I'm not sure yet. Let me tell you, if your goal is to measure as, what am I saying? To measure Esther. Brain. If your goal is to master Azure, um, don't bother. It is just gonna grow faster than you can learn it. um, I wanted to at some point, and I've completely given up because just a single technology changes. Like you can master one technology. I could see you master one or two technologies. That anything beyond that is just going to be like it just keeps growing and growing. So stop contradicting me. I mean, you can. You look. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. You know, I I would love to see somebody who can master just a whole cloud provider. Um, that would be cool. Yeah, pick a domain. Yeah, if you pick a domain and you really want to master the domain, or if you want to master a set of technologies, yes, that's doable. One technology, probably something related to AI. Yeah, that is 100% doable. AI is a big field though, but 100% doable and fun. Sounds fun. I'd love to master AI. Um, I like I said earlier, I will code a neural network in front of you. Uh, Self-organizing maps are easy. That those are fun. Um, but the thing I'm disappointed is using AI. I very much loved creating AI and machine learning algorithms. It was such a cool experience and just required so much creativity in coding. Um, I feel so saddened that I haven't gotten to that field to create AI. Um, it just I don't know. I want to see those algorithms under the hood. Like, you know, is it something like really stupid? Is it something very simple that someone like me who's not a pro would understand? I just want to pick under the hood. And yes, AI hot and lucrative, and they will remain hot and lucrative. Ah, people. All right, that was a good conversation. I'll do more of these, especially when I'm like it's late at night. I'm like I don't want to go to bed, but I also don't want to work. This is fun. This was fun. I already appreciate you guys coming. My voice is dying. I can't drink my drink because it's let me see if I can show it. I can't drink my drink. It's red. It's a strawberry lemonade, but because it's YouTube, I can't drink it. But all right, thank you everyone. Good night, and I'll try to make a video. And Monday, I'll probably do that neural network on PowerShell. So yep. All right. Good night, everyone. Bonne journée pour la personne de Normandie. And I'll see you next time. Bye.